Welcome to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we're here to talk about what goes on in the municipality, the government, the township, government offices that make laws, regulations, and ordinances that affect you out there.
And just remember, these are the people that you elected. Whether you live in Oxford Township, Addison Township, the village of Oxford, or the village of Leonard. And these are the commissions and the committees that these people appoint. And the decisions that they make directly affect you, whether you show up at these meetings to voice your opinion or not. And, that's why we're here.
Yeah. Well, actually, we're here to actually distract some of the humor in these meetings.
That's right.
Because everybody knows that there's humor deeply embedded sometimes, and sometimes not, in government issues.
Well, sometimes it takes a Freedom of Information Act to get it.
Yeah, you got to really drag it out with all fours, yeah, but it's there. And one of the other things we do is we spread rumors here, folks. Mostly him, but
No.
we do spread rumors.
Just remember, most of what we say is true, and then there's what he says.
Yeah. Hey, thanks a lot, pal. Anyway, let's talk about the first meeting, shall we?
Okay, what is it?
It's going to be the Oxford Village Council meeting. And Sue Basardit is the chairperson of that meeting. And it was held on June 23rd.
Okay.
And
that was a special meeting, wasn't it?
It was a special meeting. And one of the reasons for a special meeting was the building services that McKenna and Associates was asking for, which are a consulting firm, for the village. And they wanted to take over all of the inspection requirements of the village. And actually some other clerical type activities required.
Isn't there an individual tasked with that right now?
Well, there's a task force that's looking into it, from the council, but
was that function performed in the past?
it was by the village. But it desires some, overseership. Should I say overseership? Yeah.
Are you saying improvement?
That's the word. Could use some improvement. So anyway, they said they would do this for $18,000. So, but
per what?
yeah, right, for what? Plus there's additional fees, if it goes, past their contract agreement. And so anyway, it came down to the point of, are they going to accept this, or should they put it on the table, and should they, look into it more in detail as to far as the changes that they need to make, or can they make their own changes internally? Which I think that's why they're elected to office as the village council. That's why we have a village manager, oversee those things, and an office staff.
I think it's in their contract, isn't it?
Well, it kind of is, yeah. So anyway, it was.
But not to ignore good advice.
Right. Actually, Bill Dunn says, "Hey, just a minute. Let me stand up. I want to talk." They said, "Okay. Come on up, Bill Dunn." Bill Dunn is the supervisor of the township of Oxford.
And also a resident of the village.
He is, and that's what he was speaking on behalf of. And he said, "I object to this because, you can internally do this thing. You don't need to, pay a subcontractor to come in and do it. And you need to look at that as a direction for this thing to go."
But how's their performance in the past?
Well, it's been very slow, and you need things to change.
Well.
So what they're thinking is they need an overseer of it. But the point that Bill Dunn had is that, you are the people that run, this village. You don't need to hire subcontractors to do all these
Is that a
processes.
long way of saying step up?
That, I think Bill was trying to tell him.
Okay.
I think he was. And it was well spoken, because what happened is actually Mr. Kennis, who sits on the board as a council member, he said, "Well, I'd like to see more information on this," he says, "before I make a decision, on this." So they said, "Well, we suggest then that we table this and look into it more, in detail." So that's what was done. So
The table must be getting awfully heavy on that end.
the table is getting pretty heavy. Yes, it is. You've kind of experienced this with the notes I asked you to take.
Oh, sure.
For the last 2 years.
They fell off, by the way.
Yeah, I see
The
that.
pile gets
Okay.
so high and it just tips over.
Yeah, what's with that? I don't. Well, anyway, it is what it is.
Called autofile.
And one of these days we'll ask you to put it on the computer, and then all you got to do is just key in what you want.
I need a new computer with more storage, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, all right. Never enough for you. Never enough. I
Never
see.
enough.
Okay, I got the picture. So anyway, actually the vote on this to approve it and get it through failed. So it was tabled.
No, it didn't fail. It was tabled.
It was tabled in a sense, but
It wasn't rejected. It was table.
Well, actually, they brought it forward, you know, as a
And
as a
then they
motion,
tabled
and
it.
then they tabled it. Yeah, they did do that. Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Fine. You want to get right to the chase, Stu, and right to the end. Okay. So it failed, and it was tabled.
No, it just got tabled.
Okay. Whatever.
If they vetoed it, it would be failed. But they tabled it.
Well, I'll tell you what. Take a note on this, and we'll bring it back in the
Oh,
next meeting. Let's see what happened.
There you go.
Okay, folks. We're going to keep a note. Next subject that came up was rubbish. Want to talk trash?
Talk trash.
Okay. As it turns out, there were the village is looking for someone to pick up the trash, both commercial and residential, you know, in the area. And there were several companies that submitted bids for this. One was Republic, which came in as the last bid, a company out of Arizona, actually, Phoenix, Arizona.
Long way to travel with a garbage truck.
Yeah, it is. But they have locations all
Okay.
over the country. They're really one of the biggest garbage collectors, haulers, you know, in the nation. So they came in the last bid with $9.89, you know.
Wasn't there some controversy about the fact that someone else had already bid and that bid was known?
Yes.
Oh.
Several of them were known. There was a preliminary bid, you know, provided before it went into this final bid.
So much for sealed bids.
Yeah, and and by the way, they said you'll have a 65-gallon reclamation, or what do they call them, bin with wheels.
Recycle bins.
Recycle bins. One
Right.
of those guys.
Two of them, as a matter of fact.
Yeah. Anyway, so they
Two different types of material.
Yeah. Well, this one here is just one bin, 65
Oh, is it
gallon.
one bin? Oh, I thought there were two. Okay.
With wheels. Yeah. But they said, you know, you'll have to offer one of those, and I think the cost is something like about $65 or $70 for that.
But
one
that
of those
wasn't part of
each
the
location.
original spec, was
Wasn't
it?
part of the original spec. It was something the attorney, Bob Davis, you know, actually talked to the village manager about, and it was included in the bid, you know, process.
The secondary bid.
Secondary
process.
bid. Yep.
Yeah.
So the question came up is, who's going to use them?
I do.
You do?
Yeah.
65 gallon?
No, I have two
Yeah.
big
Smaller.
tubs that I put out
But would you
Every
use
2
a
weeks.
65 gallon unit?
in a given, on some weeks.
Wait a minute,
yeah.
you're in Brandon, you don't count anyway.
Hey,
You got
wait a
all
minute.
these chipmunks and everything that,
We have just as much trash as Oxford.
you probably fill it with, probably a little more trash. Anyway,
You can't put us down. We have just as much trash.
this much
as you do.
trash. Okay, I'll give you that one. Okay. So anyway, let's get back to Oxford, shall we?
All right.
All right. Brandon, you have your own issues, and he's one of them. Anyway, in Oxford, another company was Rizzle, who's handling it right now, Rizzle. And
They've been handling
they're
it
under
for a
the-
number of years, haven't they?
Well, they're under the existing contract, which I think was a 3-year contract with them
Okay.
originally. So that's about to expire, I think, sometime around August.
All right.
September, actually. Okay? So I know it's September where the contract expires for them. And so another one that was involved was Advanced Hauling Company, and their bid, though, was higher, came in fourth, I think. And then there's Odd Jobs, who's a local company who's lived in this area for a long time. And
According to the bidding structure that Village of Oxford uses, there's a point system where they give an advantage, some advantage in any case, to local, regional vendors.
that's the thinking. My thinking would be that, you know, if you're going to go into this bidding process, if somebody's paying taxes and their business is here and they have brick and mortar operation going, that they should be definitely under major consideration, you know, for this.
And was that weight applied in the process?
The bid process was applied. However, since Rizzle and Republic have locations here in Michigan, they counted them as local, you know.
Well, being
In
in
the state of
Michigan,
Michigan.
but not local.
Not local. Local got so many points. If you're in Michigan, so many points.
County-
And outside of Michigan.
Right, yeah, but I think
so
it
many
was,
points.
I think it was village, township, county, state, et cetera.
Right. And let's talk, you know, let's talk more about that in just a minute when we come back after this.
If you keep tanning, indoors or out, the effects of harmful rays will show up on your skin. Wrinkles, age spots, and an increased risk of melanoma, the second most common cancer in women 15 to 29. Stop tanning. Time may not be on your side. Learn how to protect your skin at spotskincancer.org. A message from the American Academy of Dermatology.
9 out of 10 of us say we want to die at home. But for a third of us, this is the last place we'll see. If you had just months to live, where would you want to be? Willie wanted to enjoy her great-great-great-grandchildren. She chose hospice. See what's possible at momentsoflife.org.
Welcome back to Minutes by Minutes. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
And we've been talking about the various garbage collection. In other words, we've been talking trash.
Talking trash.
You're right. So anyway,
We're down the dumps.
The way it turned out is that there was a vote taken on it. Originally, there was a motion made by Brian Cloutier, who felt that they should be kept local with odd jobs, and made a motion, and Rose Bima seconded it, but that's as far as it went. It was declined by Basardit and Helmuth and Kinnis.
But they did vote on it.
They turned it down. Yep.
Okay.
That what Brian Cloutier wanted to do is get odd jobs to do it, but with negotiating with them, the terms and agreement that they would have, that they would fit in and be able to do this. But anyway, that was thrown out, and the next motion was made by Sue Basardit, who's the president of the village council, to have Republic do it.
Is it typical for the president to make a proposal?
You can do
can.
it. But what's unprecedented here is that the contract is 5 years. Normally it's less than that, 3 years. So a 5-year contract is quite extensive, but they did approve that. She brought it forward. It was seconded, Maureen Helmuth was the one that brought it to the front.
Oh, she made
made the proposal.
Oh, okay.
And it was seconded by Sue Basardit.
Oh, okay.
And then I'm trying to think. Kinnis then voted with them too, which made the majority.
Okay.
So what happened is, of course, that Republic, got the contract. So,
which goes to say that all no's are canceled by a yes.
Yes, and of course the local company was very disappointed in this fact that they didn't get the support they were looking for.
But
so,
if the bidding process was fair, I'm sure that the village council did what they had to do.
I hope. Okay. Anyway, the next subject they talked about was the renewal of insurance, and that's in the tune of about $10 million in liability that they were looking for. And the cost of that project is about $39,358, per year, and which was about a $3,000 savings over the other insurance company that they were dealing with. So that was approved, went through unanimous.
Some things end up not being insured, or what?
But no, I don't know what happened. But they claim that the insurance covered the same items as the other insurance company did. So and they looked into it in detail. So that being the case, it was pretty good arrangement.
I just always remember that cartoon where it showed the three astronauts in the space capsule going. Doesn't it give you a great sense of confidence about being in a capsule built by the lowest bidder?
Absolutely. Yeah, I understand where you're coming from on that one too. The other subject that they dealt with was DDA. They said that we have before us a proposal by the DDA to have a new director, and that would be Joel Frost.
Okay.
And they discussed Joel Frost and what his salary was going to be. It's going to be $40,000 a year plus benefits. And,
is that comparable to what it was before?
Yeah, that's what the other director was getting paid.
Madonna.
Well, no, the one after that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I thought the one after that was not a full-time.
She was offered a full-time job.
Oh.
But she
declined.
She accepted it and then resigned a week later. So that was kind of short-lived.
Okay.
All right. So anyway, so that was the same offer as made to her. So anyway, that was approved, and that takes care of the village council. Next item we're going to talk about is the Oxford Planning Commission meeting that they had. Todd Bell, and that was the township.
Right. Todd runs a tight meeting, folks.
He does. He does a great job. He's, I think he was a builder contractor at one time, still might be.
Good to have that skill in a planning commission.
It is. And there's a pretty good panel that they've got set up. But anyway, the first question they had was, is there anything from the public? And a lady stood up, her name was Audrey, and she said that she's concerned that the plat that they had defined for property in a previous subdivision they had been dealing with, a new subdivision, that it wasn't brought in a legitimate or a, what do they call it, official way, by their commission. And so it's explained to her exactly how the process works, and that it fell under ease of right-of-way is what it was, an easement, that there was an
I
easement
feel
there
you're
already.
diving into a can of worms
I
here.
am, and I see them wiggling, coming to the top. And I can see the odd look you're giving me, so let's move on. For more information, contact the township. Okay, they'll let you know. Anyway, and new business they brought up. And
Table that.
yeah, table that, put it with your notes over there. Okay, Motor City Fireworks applied for an application to sell fireworks for the 4th of July.
Oh.
And unfortunately, they didn't show up for the agreement, or the
Boy, they're a day late and a dollar short,
right,
aren't
for
they?
their permit. So, yeah, they are now. So they said, well, we're just going to throw that one out, since there's nobody there to represent the
Considering,
company.
you know, that there are several other vendors around.
So, yeah, so it was what they call withdrawn.
Withdrawn.
Withdrawn, okay. Anyway, they also, they had a final site plan for a 56.4 acre piece of property by BKG LLC, which is Bingham Farms in Michigan, for Sand Hill townhouses.
Where's that?
Yeah, that's Burton and Katzman developers,
Oh.
which is right, you know where the school thing is?
I was thinking of the intersection. I'm going, I've never heard of those roads.
Yeah, you know the proposed property is that was suggested for, as part of Wei Ming,
Oh, really?
adjacent to it.
Okay.
Adjacent to it. Anyhow, that's the one, remember we talked about where there's going to be 300 houses built, condos and apartments and everything?
They've been talking
Yeah.
about that for years.
Well, they actually had the preliminary site plans approved
Wow.
for this thing now.
Things have turned around.
They have, and it's going to be Sand Hill townhouses and Abbey Ridge apartments, and they're going to start with the apartments to begin with in phase 1. And so when they get those completed, they're going to then look at the sources for sewage and that kind of thing for the rest of the development, because it's going to be pretty extensive.
Okay.
And make sure that everything is in place before they
how many
go on to the second
residents?
phase.
300, you said?
Going to be 300 residents roughly in that location with the townhouses and
That puts
the
some
rentals
stress
and so
on the
forth.
old water and sewer, doesn't it?
Well, it does, and they're going to move the sewage down through and connect to the village sewage system because they have a larger capacity than the township does.
And who knows? They may actually build a safety path on the other side of M24 going into the village.
Or they could build a tunnel under 24. I don't know if
I
it's going to
don't
work.
think those people would be too thrilled crossing 24.
They might not. You got that right. Okay. So anyway, so they got their final site plan for this thing, so an approval. There's a couple of small items that need to be dealt with, but that's when they get into the second phase of the development. Let me see what else with that. No, that was pretty firm. What else? Problems. Utilities, yeah, they need to work on that in the sewer system for the new one. That's pretty much it, for the township planning commission meeting that they had on June 25th. With that, we'll be back with more right after this.
Hi, I'm Connie from Connie's Kitchen, and normally we'd be shooting from Treetop Lodge, but we're on location today at an alpaca farm. This is shearing season, and Matt and Katie, the alpaca barbers, have been in town for the last couple days, shearing all the animals. As you can see behind me, these girls are all ready for spring. A lot of people have been visiting the lodge for a luncheon and coming over here to the farm to see the animals and to purchase the fleece directly off the animals, 100% pure alpaca. So we've had a lot of fun over at the lodge. We had lunch and we're feeding everybody breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And now we're over here, and no, we're not planning on doing any cooking here in the field. We're just enjoying and visiting. And we got a lot of stuff coming up at the lodge. So you want to catch us on OCTV and on YouTube and on Facebook. And you can even call me directly, 248-933-4579. Check out our wine dinners. We have a murder. We know we have a murder coming up in July. We actually have scheduled a murder. And a whole lot of other stuff. Scrapbooking and spinning and weaving and, well, just about anything you can imagine we're doing at the lodge, so long as it's quiet and dignified. Well, I don't know about dignified, but quiet. So catch us daily, I think, on OCTV. Catch us anytime on YouTube. And very soon, I will start a new series where we will start filming more shows from the lodge and from various locations like this. I can't bring a barbecue grill in here by the alpacas. That wouldn't be a good idea. But we'll do some outdoor cooking too. So in the meantime, keep watching. Let me know what you think. and watch for our new shows.
Well, welcome back to Minutes by Minute. I'm Elgin Nichols. I almost gobbled that
welcome
one,
back. And I'm Dave Kenny.
Yeah, this guy over here, the guy with a big stack of notes.
Yeah, right.
Anyway, let's talk about the Oxford Board of Education briefly, shall we?
Okay.
Okay, I talked you right into it, huh? Okay, let me see what they did. Okay, followed by the name of Dr. Steve Holson, who's a strategical process individual for the school that gives direction and how education is to happen in Oxford, you know, for mathematics and different things in terms of strategy. Spent probably a half hour or so talking about it, and I couldn't honestly tell you what the heck he talked about. I was all done. I saw 2 or 3 people fall asleep, but I think those people that were alerted to, you know, what the real issue was stayed awake.
Are you saying that in their mind they tabled it?
Yeah, right. Well, I don't think so. Anyway, they said there's lots of things that they need to deal with on it, and it seems like more of the same old stuff that went on concerning strategical planning. So anyway, for those people that are really tuned into this, they got, I think, quite a bit out of it. Me, I'm not tuned at all, so I didn't get a whole lot out of it. But anyway,
Mr. Short Attention
he
Span here.
seems like a nice guy. Anyway, but it seemed like it was a carousel. Keep coming back. Anyhow, let's talk about website changes.
Maybe use the old Army method. Tell them what you're going to tell them, and tell them what you told them.
Yeah, that's a good one. Well, you weren't in the Army, though. How would you know
I
that?
was.
You were?
Yeah.
That's how you know that.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you wouldn't know it.
I wouldn't know it. I wouldn't know it. The Army taught me many things.
Yes, I bet they did. You don't want to hear the words you learn. Anyway, website changes. They said that they have a new website. It's going to be up and running. It's going to cost roughly about $23,164 for this website to go. It's a 3-year contract with the company they've dealt with.
Well, wait a minute. This is the new website they currently have?
No, they're going to replace it.
Oh, my Lord.
So it is being replaced. It's what the suggestion is. And there's roughly, over the old website planning program that they have, a savings of about $18,000. So they worked pretty good on this one.
So when do they expect to have this up?
Well, I think by the time school starts, it's going to be up and running.
Oh, please tell me it'll be transparent.
It is going to be very transparent. And actually, the reason why they got such a good buy on this, because if they set the agreement early.
Because they use sock puppets? No.
Yeah, outside the window. They got the puppets. No, they don't. Anyway, it's a pretty advanced system of notification for what's going on. You know,
that's cool.
And communications between teachers and parents and everything. It's very easy to use, they say. So it should be a good thing. It's got a 3-year contract involved. And right now, if they sign the contract, that's why it's a low price, is because they'll save $500 at each building location that this goes into.
Who is the outfit again?
You know, I really couldn't tell you the name of it right now.
Are they local?
I would say not.
Okay.
It's used by other school systems. So, and they've tested other school systems, gone to those locations, find out how they like it, and they
sort of a
pretty
best
much like
practice, sort of a best practices thing.
Yeah, I guess you could say that.
Yeah.
I guess we will say that.
Okay, we did.
Okay, you did anyway. I guess we did. As long as you did, I did. Okay. Anyway, we got it.
Got it good.
Got it. Okay. Anyway, after this was approved and they agreed with it, a woman stood up and said, "Hey, wait a minute. How come we as the public don't have any input on this?" And she says, "Can the public speak about this?" And they said, "No."
What? What?
It's an internal issue. So anyway,
It's all an internal issue.
I know, but they said, "No, you can't do that." So she said, "Oh, okay." What?
Did she show him her tax bill? It's not internal to me.
I think she's going to bring the tax bill and probably a whole bunch of people with pitchforks and fire next time. I don't know.
Internal?
Yeah. Last time they told Kelly, I think they have her last name right now, the one that serves on the Planning Commission board. Kelly, what's her last name?
Rossner?
Russner. Good.
Holly
Last time they
Russner-Meyer.
told her that, she showed up with about 100 people.
Good for her.
Yeah. And things have changed a lot. Okay.
Beware of the grassroots.
Right, you got it. Anyway, let me see, what else did they do? They talked about the swimming pool for Parks and Recreation for the summer
Otherwise
months.
known as the natatorium.
Okay,
That's
tell
what
me
they-
more.
They do call it that, you know.
Tell me more.
It's not called the swimming pool.
What's this about?
The natatorium.
Tell me more.
You've got the notes.
I got you right where I want you, don't I? Okay.
You think.
Okay. Anyway, Parks and Recreation, they have had to lease, the pool
Right.
for this. And they paid $8,000 a year, roughly, in summer.
For their
this.
use of it at
Right.
specific times.
Right.
Yeah.
And the Parks and Rec director, who's Ron Davis, came to him and said, look, guys, we can't afford to pay this kind of money, for the parents and, the residents to use the pool that they're already paying tax on, from the school system. And so can something be worked out where we don't have to pay such high rates on it? And he said, yeah, we'll do that. So they negotiated, and I think it's half what they paid last year for this. So kids will be able to swim in the pool, so it's pretty good.
On the cheap.
On the cheap. But it was pointed out that there's certain maintenance requirements, in keeping this pool up. You got to have guards, lifeguards, you got to have chemicals and that kind of thing, and cleaning and all that kind of thing. So there's certain expense involved. So that would be fair enough that they could, cut the cost, but, there's,
Supply their own lifeguards?
well, I don't think they want to do that. I mean,
Oh.
they go through certain training for this, and they're pretty rigorous, in terms of what
Oh, sure.
school requires.
But when you cut cost, you cut something else.
You do. Your lifeline.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, another thing they talked about was a couple of programs. One is called Expressions, the other one is called Bridges. You've heard of Bridges program?
Yeah, it's another educational thing like the Virtual Academy, but I don't know exactly what it is. Can you explain it?
Well, actually, I don't really have to, because the choice between the two, and they went to different schools, it's a educational program for math and that kind of thing. And teachers have sampled it, internally at Oxford. And some teachers like Expressions, some like Bridges better. But they went to other schools to find out, what was preferred there. And it was overwhelmingly Expressions.
Which is?
It's a similar program, but easier to operate in terms of computer
Is it like,
manipulation.
but it is a virtual education
It
kind
is.
of thing. Okay.
Yep. And the cost of it, though, is like $193,000 to do it. And they felt that that was the way that they needed to go, and so it was pretty much proved that that's what's going to happen.
Wow.
Yep.
As opposed to teachers.
Well, they're going to hire teachers, too.
Oh.
Matter of fact, one of the issues was human resources, and they're going to hire 4 teachers, 2 for orchestra teachers, and let me see what else here. Psychologist, going to hire a psychology teacher, and a regular employment teacher.
This all is for the Expressions program.
No, this is a different program. This is
Oh.
just to fill in the gaps of people that have left
Okay.
Oxford.
Oh, okay.
Matter of fact,
People do retire and
they
leave
do.
and move
Matter
for
of fact,
other reasons.
what I find interesting is the girl they hired as a standard teacher for this was a Chinese girl. Came over here, from China under the program that they had.
Oh, yeah,
and
Lily.
went on to get her teaching, certificate and that
Is
kind
that
of thing.
Lily?
I don't know what her name is. They did
so.
mention it, but probably what was the name?
I think her nickname is Lily, I think.
Could be. I don't know. Anyway, that being said, what's coming up?
Well, we do have meetings. On 7/7 at 7 o'clock, the Village of Oxford Planning Commission. And on 7/8 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Board of Trustees, always an interesting meeting. At 6:30, the Oxford Board of Education meets again, this time at the
diggity
district
dog.
offices. And on 7/9 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township Planning Commission. And it's on 7/13 at 7 o'clock, the Oxford Township ZBA, or Zoning Board of Appeals. And lastly, at 7 o'clock, the Village of Leonard Council.
Real quick now, there's other things going on. Seymour Celebration, July 9th, 10th, and 11th. Something you folks
That's right.
will not want
2
to
nights
miss.
of fireworks, 2 nights, I say.
Friday and Saturday night, the 10th and 11th. Leonard Addison Township Strawberry Festival, Saturday, July 18th. That's another one you won't want to miss.
Ice cream, strawberries, and a parade.
Yum.
What
Okay.
more could you want?
Right. And don't forget right here at Oxford Community Television, the Chamber is going to have a Coffee Connect meeting here, July 7th from 8 to 9 a.m. So if you folks want some coffee, donuts, the tour of the studio, come on down.
Or as they say down south, y'all come.
Y'all come. I'm Elgin Nichols.
And I'm Dave Kenny.
We'll catch you right here next time on
OCTV,
Got It.
Oxford Community Television.